everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bowie State Sports Talk. Today, we got a special episode. As you all can see to my right, you got a multi-check pony, the former football player, Michael Phillips Jr. Let me see, a good roommate, a wrestler, and most importantly, an artist, Geffrey Love Jr. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. And you?
I'm doing good myself. Did I miss anything in that intro? I'm pretty sure I missed a few things. I didn't say a dancer, model walk.
Yeah.
Someone who major isn't even fashion design, but still out fashion designers.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing anything?
I think you pretty much summed it up. You got the model, got the fashion, got the 3 sports, got the art business, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's jump right into what I think. It's getting started right now. This is wrestling. So after that wrestling since high school, you decided to do something big here at Bowie State. You decided to basically create a wrestling team.
Yeah.
So what made you create a team? Did you miss wrestling since high school? Like, did you miss it? Did you want to get back to wrestling? What made you do that?
All right. So first and foremost, we can't call it a team or club yet because under the sports management thing, we got to start somewhere. So we can't get to the club or team standard yet. But I did miss it. So every now and then I would go on my phone and look at my old videos from high school and state champions and all of that and be like, dang, I really missed my senior year because of COVID. And from that, I was just like, you know what? I knew that Bowie State was supposed to have a wrestling team already, but they dismantled that. So I was just like, I'm going to just piggyback from where they left off.
So you said the state championship. Talk to me about that season. Did you what was your record that season? Did you win the state championship? If not, how was the match did you make it to the final? That's the final. How was the match how was your final match in the state championship?
Oh man. So it was a wild one because this was junior year. This was the last time I wrestled. And then so it actually starts from freshman year of high school. Freshman year of high school, we in PG County, all the schools pretty much know each other, especially if you're on a sport.
Yeah.
You constantly go against each other no matter where you are. So it was just like all these wrestlers knew every time you go on a mat, you'd be like, dang, am I really about to go up against him again? Am I going to lose again? Am I going to win this time? That type of thing. Mm-hmm. So freshman year, I was 7-2. And it was always the last 2 that I could never get past to get to the states. Sophomore year, same thing. But then junior year, it was like something switched and I finally got past that 1. And then I was 8-1. And then I needed one more match to kind of push me over to get to states. Mm-hmm. So it was this thing called Winter Blitz. I just went up in this tournament and actually won the entire tournament, got first place in that tournament. And because of that, they was just like, okay, let's shoot you up real quick. And that went on the record. So then when I got to the counties, I didn't have to wrestle damn near anyone. It was just maybe 3 people I had to wrestle. Mm-hmm. 1 just a warm up match is what I called it, and then 2 was the last 2 that qualified me. And then I got 3rd place in counties.
Damn.
And then
that's impressive.
Yeah, and then from counties was I forgot what they called it, but I knew it was like the tournament to qualify you for states. And from there, I got 3rd place there, and then went to states. And then my first match at states, my arm got dislocated.
Oh my! How was that recovery process? First, what was your reaction to that? Because that disturbed me. So, what was your reaction? Did you feel the pain right away, or was did you not feel it? You realized it after the match, or did you realize it during the match?
I realized it during the match. But it was an immediate, once your arm dislocates from your shoulder, you realize something ain't right. Okay. So it's he had pressured on my shoulder so much in an illegal way, but the ref ain't call it.
Mm.
And it just came to a moment where you heard it go, and I get up and I'm like, yo, back him up off me. And so the ref calls in and he's like, back up. And then I get up and my arm is just limp.
Oh my God.
And everyone's over here. My coaches in the corner, they overreact and they like, whoa, 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 whoa. And my dumb self leans back down on the mat and pop it back in myself. I slam it on the mat and I pop it back in. And I get up and I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go.
What that is some Kobe Bryant mama mentality stuff. I have never like I heard Kobe like pop his finger back in, but a whole shoulder. I have that's insane. I got to give it up. Did you end up winning that match when you went back in, or
Nope, because as soon as I took that one step to get back into the stance, fell out, passed out.
oh damn? Well, I respect the effort of you trying to get back into action, popping it back in action right then and there. Because me, I would have gave up. I don't care how far I made it. I would have played the safe and gave up right then and there. So mad respect. But what was the process like? Getting a team. Well, you like you said, not a team yet. Getting an organic club or whatever back together. Like you said, you added on to what wasn't finished, what got canceled. So what did you have to do? What was that process?
So on my behalf, I pretty much left all the logistics and all of that to the advisor because he was already named as this well-renowned wrestler. They already knew him as to be one. So I knew it was kind of going to be easier for him than a student to go ahead and do everything that's considered like getting spatial requests, things like that. So I let him take those reins while I just got the people together, try to get it promoted and have people come in. But it was also a mix of us going back and forth between those two. Excuse me. I remember talking to Miss Renee in the department who runs McKelvin Gym and talking to her, getting our time situated. Very appreciative of her because we came into this very late. So the fact that she even is letting us get the times we have, I'm fine with.
Okay, I'm gonna get to the times and days a little later, but you told me people call you Coach Jeffrey, correct?
Yeah, Coach Love.
Coach Love. Then that made your heart warm. So, are you a wrestler, or like have you retired as a wrestler and you're not a coach, or are you a coach and a wrestler?
I would say because a student can't be like a full-on coach, but I am the student coach.
Sure.
So I have the coach title, but I'm also still a wrestler.
Okay, so like, would you say you're a coach because like you're like the most experienced? You've been wrestling the longest. Like you're just that good. They kind of call you a coach now compared to everybody else. You're more experienced.
Based on the registration forms that we all went through, so because I had to fill one out myself since I said I was going to wrestle too. Yeah. So based on that, we kind of decoded it from there and was just like, since I started this and I have this experience, we'll go ahead and label me as like the assistant coach towards the coaches.
Makes sense. So would you recommend? Would you really like be honest here? Would you recommend people who never wrestled before to come and try out? Like if I want to try out, I never wrestled. I probably watch one wrestling match. Would you honestly recommend us to come try out? Like you got a chance to make it a team, or like, hey, don't even waste your time.
Definitely, always. I'm not one of those people that will sugarcoat anything. I definitely ain't sugarcoating for the girls on that came to wrestle. I was just when they first came, I was just like, look, y'all never wrestled before. I'm not going light on y'all. The advisor had to pull me aside before we started and was just like, for the people that haven't came before, go easy on them. And I was just like, I'm gonna bring it back just a little, but not a lot.
That's how I am in the weight room. Like when I'm watching somebody in the weight room, my mom knows this. I don't go too easy, but I don't go too hard either. And I still end up making them quit like the second day. So I feel kind of bad, but I like it. I like it that way. Like don't take it easy on me. Like make it difficult so I can be ready for like the first match. And back to like the time and location. On what days, what time, and what location do y'all practice?
So it used to be Mondays and Fridays. Mondays were 3 to 4 p.m., but Mondays are completely scratched because the basketball team are now have to use the small gym.
Okay.
So now it's just Fridays for right now. And when you fill out the registration, you'll get more of the details on all of that. But right now it's just Fridays from 3 to 6 p.m.
Okay. You said fill out a registration. Where can they find that registration at? Like, is there a QR code or like the website kind of by heart?
So it is a QR code, or you can either email me at loveg0530 at students.bowie.state.edu,
Mm-hmm.
or it's normally posted around the student center, the library, or the weight room.
Okay.
And we try to filter out those QR codes because they do expire.
Anything else you want to? Well, do you know when y'all? Like you said, it's not a team yet. So you might not know this, but do you know when y'all first match is and against who, or that's still in the makings?
So a little trade-in, a little thing I'm trying to get started is we have these old mats.
Okay.
So on one side of the mat, you got a bunch of little circles that they know about because they've been coming to the practices, and you practice on those sides.
Mm-hmm.
But when you flip the mats, it turns into an actual
ring.
Exactly. It turns into an actual ring with the green side and the red side for an actual match. So because trying to wrestle other colleges right now probably won't happen, mainly because we got barely a month left to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm working towards is getting their knowledge and not necessarily their skill levels up, but just their knowledge on what they can do. I want to bring it up just a little bit so that by 2 weeks' time, we can host a little event of in-team wrestling, kind of like a King of Hill type thing.
Yeah, so like everybody that's on the trial team, everybody that's trying out on the team, they like all have to get each other. Whoever come out on top, they win. Right. So it's separated by weight classes. Do you know what weight classes like? What's the weight classes? Like 110 to 1,
So just for the simple fact, we in college, we actually don't have that many small people that join. We have a lot of heavyweights. So it seems like our weight classes pretty much start at barely 135. And that's pushing it because it seems more so along the 140 range. But I'll say 135. If you're smaller, do come. It's no problem. But from where we are right now, the weight classes are from 135 all the way to 280.
280. So anybody over 280, they're like, would they still be welcome? Like just trying to help them lose weight. I know a friend. His name is Frank. I think he's like 300 and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's going to wrestle or not. But hypothetically speaking, if he does, we still be recommended to come or
definitely. So the weight classes, there's no like, oh, you're too big. There's you're too small. None of that. It's you come. If you want to drop, we will help you drop, especially with conditioning. But if you don't want to drop, that's fine. Your weight can still be wrestling weight.
Okay. So, anything else, before we move on to the next sport, anything else you want to talk about, like promote for the Bowie State Wrestling or just your wrestling career in general?
As far as times and coming out to practice, that's all I can really promote at the moment.
Okay.
I can't really do too much promoting on things because we got to make sure we get the approval first.
I feel that. Like sometimes we want to promote this podcast and whatnot, but I can't do it. Like last Monday I was supposed to come on, I'll be ready, but other people don't be ready. So I feel that not like one to promote, but can't promote too much because that's when if you promote it and it don't happen, it's gonna be a letdown. So
yeah,
I feel that. But let's just talk a little bit and onto the sport that I was personally surprised that you play football. What made you play football? Like what made you choose that sport?
Man, in high school, I don't know what was going through my head really. It was more so like, okay, I had this idea of what a cool kid would be pretty much. And I don't know, I've always been the busy type. I'll always have something on my plate. So what better in high school to have on your plate than sports? So I kind of got the head start because my baseball coach in middle school told me about the football team at my high school before I went. So I managed to snag it in the summer before school even started. And by the time school started, I was on the team. But what got me to it was the fact that I was just like, ooh, I want to just try everything. That's the only thought that went through my head was I want to try everything. We had a football team, a lacrosse team, wrestling, swimming, volleyball, tennis, and I think golf was one of them. But I tried swimming. I did swimming. I did wrestling. I did football. Oh, we also had baseball, but I didn't go for baseball. But I don't know. I did leave football because I'm a people person. If the environment ain't great, if the people in the environment are not great, I'm going to leave.
And that's absolutely respectable. Definitely, if football wasn't really your career goal, like don't force yourself. Like if it was your career goal, well, if it was mine, I personally would have stayed bad or not bad. But if it's not your career goal, you just doing it because you want to get involved and you try to be that guy. And yeah, you're definitely smart for leaving. But as you may or may not know, I love to work out. So talk to me about the workouts. So not the trials, like in summertime, but like for us, workouts started in like January to like April maybe. So talk to me about the workouts, lifting weights, and doing cardio.
For the football?
Yeah, for the football team.
Yeah. Okay, so workouts for football is actually what started me on this whole get ripped type path because my coach, he wasn't like small or anything. He was actually built himself, and he kind of like tried to take me under like his wing, and he would have me. So in our high school, football season didn't start until school started, but they allowed us to go into the weight rooms. They unlocked the school for weight rooms and all of that, the track, all of that during the summer. So as soon as school ended in the summer, give or take a month or so, July is when workouts started. So it was at 12 p.m. on the dot, right into the weight room. You rack your 45 pound bar, and rack 225s on the end of it. That's your warm up rate.
For bench press?
Yep, for your bench press. That's your warm up rate, and you got to knock out as many as you can without dropping it. And if you're about to drop it, the people on the sides, they get the pleasure of kind of like gutting you at the
like pushing you to do it, like
right.
Yeah.
And then after bench pressing, you do your deadlifts. Deadlifts are a little heavier, especially because they was just like for some reason everyone's legs were stronger than their upper half. So it was like deadlifts was 45 bar with two each 45s on each side.
225.
Right. 45s, 45 plates.
Yeah, I'm saying that's 225 in total. Like the 45 and 25 is 185.
Right.
The 245 to 225 pounds in total.
Right. And you would just deadlift that until you couldn't anymore. And then you would move on to your bicep curls, your little increments to hit every part of your body. And then right after that, it was just like, all right, you got 30 seconds to drink as much water as you can. And we were like, what you mean? 30 seconds. And then they would start the timer and everyone would just be booking to the hallway.
Yeah.
And then they come back in 30 seconds. Next thing you know, we outside on the track. And they talk about you got to run until you feel like you're about to throw up. And then when you throw up, run again. And it's like, whoa, what I sign up for? But it was also, it kept me in shape because one, it was hot. So I was sweating like crazy. And then I would go home, take off my shirt for the shower and look in the mirror and I'd be like, where'd these come from? Because a full summer of just that got you ready for the season.
And that's kind of weird. It's like during the summertime, y'all wasn't like outside doing 2-a-day practices, having like the gear on, the helmet and all that on outside the field.
So we started doing that more so towards when the season started. So that started happening more so around August. Early August is when we started doing that because they wanted us to get that feel of how the equipment feels, and we wasn't going to get equipment until we made the team. That was kind of their like insurance.
Smart.
Right. So they waited until then, and then by this time, it's not even hot anymore. It started to get cold, and then and then that was another thing. They wanted to wait to give us equipment for when it was cold, so that we wouldn't be passing out or nothing in that equipment in the heat.
Yeah.
But then we did start getting on the field, and then we started getting assigned positions. And I remember the first position they assigned me off the bat, just from how I looked, was safety.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna get to position a little bit, but back it up. So like, it's kind of funny because ours is different. So for Wise, for my high school I went to, in January, from like starting in January after Christmas break, we started doing workouts. Well, yeah, workouts like the weight room and cardio. That's when summertime, like after school, like summer when y'all was doing weights, we started like doing 2-a-day practices and whatnot, tryouts. So it's kind of funny hearing like I kind of thought every school had the same schedule, but I guess it don't work that way. But like you said, so starting when trials started, what was your mindset going in? Was it I'm gonna bridge through these, I'm gonna make a team, I'm gonna be a first string, or was it it's my first time playing football? I don't think I'm gonna make it, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try anyway.
See, I'm a weird person. I'm very weird, especially when it comes to all of my things. I got mass anxiety, so sometimes I'll be like, I don't think I could do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But for the longest time, my mind going into football, wrestling, whatever I was doing, was blank. Nothing was on my head. I was just like, oh, we're doing it, cool, and that was it.
That's interesting to hear because that I don't think I never heard anybody with that mindset, but that's interesting to hear. 'Cause everybody either scared or they have like this pure confidence, but no thoughts at all. That's interesting. My first time ever hearing that. So for us, after like almost every tryout, every workout, every tryout, people got cut. Was that how it was we got to, or kind of different?
It was a little different because I mean, I guess they wasn't gonna physically cut people themselves because it was just like if you couldn't handle the stuff we were doing, then they would leave themselves.
Oh, so okay. I was gonna ask you that. Like, did you when the inter practice came? Did you think like you was getting cut, or was you confident? Like, I did good today. I knew I'm getting cut. So like throughout the practice, did you think? But you ever like I'm about to quit? I'm like this close to quitting, or even though you said you got a blank mind, I'm pretty sure a thought of quitting, or feeling confident have to come in mind. Did you ever think about quitting, or was you just
definitely
okay?
Like I said, if the environment isn't right,
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gone. And it was so many moments where I don't know why, but sports are in my eyes, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but sports are supposed to be like a family.
Absolutely.
A family that you either don't have or you want. And it was like the football team at my high school, they just weren't that. Everyone was in competition with each other, and even if you did good, it wasn't like a praise. It was a snarky remark or like, you thought you ate or something like that.
Jealousy.
Right. And I don't know. It was just moments where it was one day, I don't know what it was compared to every other day. My personal thing, I like to have fun. And the more I have fun, I feel like the better I am at the sport.
True.
So compared to every other day, I was great to this. Every other day made me look like trash compared to this day. Because for some reason, no one was passing me with safety. They finally gave us okay, you're good to tackle. And it was like, I was going with it. Everyone to the right, to the left. I was just right down the middle. Pick up, return, just going. And they all kept giving me these mugs. Like, they kept giving me these snarky remarks like, he think he all that. And I'm literally not saying shit. I'm not saying a word. I'm just enjoying myself. The coaches are praising me. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a ball. Like, I'm literally tackling the people. I get to take out my anger. I'm having a ball. And I'm getting fit at the same time. I'm having a ball.
Yeah, I kind of feel that like when I first started working out, like when you said y'all did 45 25 off the back, I couldn't do that when I first started working out. Like I was like big, but I was weak. So when I first started working out during the off season, like the workouts in the gym, the coach put me with the other lineman who was actually big and fit. Where I was big and weak. So when I tried to, I don't know what they started off with. I'm gonna just say like 205, which is 45 or 35. I couldn't do it. My max at that time was like 135. So when people saw me that big and not being able to lift, I was getting talked about too. But that kind of motivated me to work harder. So that helped me out a lot. But like you said, you played safety. Was like did you like you were surprised by that? You didn't expect to play safety?
I really didn't. My immediate thought was runner back. Like I thought that, and I eventually did ended up playing that position, but my immediate thought was, oh, they're gonna put me in this running position because of how I was on the track. They're going. I used to be able to run like crazy, so they're gonna put me on this running position, and then I could catch a ball without a problem. I was just like, they're gonna put me in this position, but then I don't know what it was, but they was just like safety, and I was like, okay.
So talk to me about like what's some drills that you did as a safety. Like I'm gonna talk about running back, a drill that you definitely did as running back. What's some drills that you did as a safety? Like you said, 1-on-1s. Talk to me a little bit about that. Like, but was you like definitely like the best safety, like the best like safety? Like nobody got past you at all. Like literally like the best wide receiver couldn't get past you. The best tight end couldn't get past you. But you locking everybody down like clamp. Was you like that in the game too?
See, with me, I ain't. Maybe it's the modest in me, but there was definitely days people got past me. I don't know if it was I wasn't in it or I was tired. I don't know what it was, but there's days that people got past me. And that's full respect to them. Either they juked me or I overshot it.
Happens to everybody.
Right. But the drills, it was me and at the time my best friend on that team. It was me and him. They would send us off to the side and they would be like, run it. Run what y'all want. They never gave us any specific drills, nothing. It was just right, run it. Gave us a ball and was just like, run it. So we kind of made our own at that. It was like, okay, you go down there and we're gonna run full force at each other. And if you bounce, and it was like this was like our endurance / durability test. It was like we run full force at each other, and when we clash, if you can't hold on to that ball or you bounce back, do it again until you can't. Do it. To keep doing it so that I don't know, for some reason in our head that was the perfect thing, and it was like keep doing it until we literally become to a stalemate. That was one of them. The next one was the whole juking. What happens if someone tries to juke you to the right? What happens if someone tries to juke you to the left? You have to be light on your feet type thing. So we did this thing where we would line up and lock arms and we would do suicides to the side, but we had to be on the same foot. And for the longest time, we kept tripping over each other. And people would look at us like we stupid, but we kept tripping over each other. And then it was like that Friday, we got it. We was just going at it, and then we got to the field, and it actually worked. Going to the sides definitely made it easier for when they went this way to just
go back. Yeah, so like if they go to the left, like you able to recover and go to the left with them.
Right.
So yeah, that first drill is kind of crazy, but then again, it's not because that as a running back, a drill that you do a lot is called the Oklahoma drill. You remember that?
Yeah.
Talk to us here. Like, if you ever did it in practice?
I never did it.
Oh, okay.
But I remember seeing it, and then I was just like, "What is that?" And my coach would be like, "Oh, that's an Oklahoma drill," and I was just like, "Oh, what?" Like,
man, that was a crazy days. Making me reminisce and miss the old days, man. But most of my core memories from playing football was in between practices. So did you all have 2-a-day workouts, 2-a-day practices?
Yes and no. That was like a once in a blue moon type thing. They really didn't want us burnt out. I don't know. It was just like they weren't soft on us, but they also were, because it was just like the workouts itself was not soft, but back to back, they wouldn't do it.
Dang, man! Like we had 2 days a lot. Like from like August. No, I forgot when it was, but we had 2 days back to back to back to back. So what in those few days that you did do 2 days, like, what did you do in between? Did you go back home? Or did you spend your time back to school waiting until the second practice?
Definitely went back home.
Lucky
So
you.
I'm always in walking distance or a bus drive away from the school.
Mhm.
So I would always go back home, knock out, wake back up, come back.
Yeah, I live the bus distance, but I just like doing that. I stayed at school. Like, so I had so many memories. Like, I went to sleep. I was trying to take a nap. I can't even do that because taking a nap around a whole bunch of other guys not a good idea. Pour water on my face, not a good idea. I learned that the hard way.
Especially if they got access to a Sharpie.
Yeah. Learned that the hard way. Never again. Like, before I go anywhere, if I go to like a kickback at nighttime, I take a nap before I go. I'm not going to sleep around anybody else. No trips. All men, all girls, not going to sleep. Learned that the hard way. But you play, did you in games, like in actual games, you play running back or you play safety? Or both? Because some people play offense and defense.
So our first scrimmage, I was safety for a good 3 rounds of it. I was safety, and he was just the first 2 were shaky because I don't know if it was the anxiety that got to me, but I don't know what it was. Everything was blurred. I was like, dang, what do I do? Because it's different when you're going against people you know, and then it completely changes. And now you got this 5'5" boy going against people that are 5'10" and up, and you're just everyone's towering you, and you looking up like, dang, what do I do?
And what about running back? Did you play? So you maintain running back in the game rather than safety?
Yeah. So the third match, I actually started doing better with my safety, but he was just like, I want to try something since our running back got injured. He was just like, you know what to do, right? And I was just like, run and catch the ball, right?
Basically.
Right. And he was just like, cool, go out there.
Wow.
He was like, let the ref know that you switching in and go out there. So I didn't know what to do for real. I just stood there and waited for the quarterback, and the quarterback was like, and I was like, and he was like, and I was just like, oh, and then I went over there, and then he called it, and all I remember is running, and catching it, and then as soon as I caught it, getting tackled, and I was just like, dang, so this is what I gotta do.
Wow, so like you out there, your first game as running back, not knowing what to do, not practicing running back in offense. I mean, not doing practice, not playing running back, not knowing any of the plays. How many yards did you get? How many yards did you get in that play? Was it like a first down, or was it like 2 yards?
It was like two yards.
I mean, two better than no yards. Would you say that was like your like best game statistically, like, or did you do like any other big things basically as the season went on?
I only really played as running back for like maybe 4 games, and it wasn't even for like a long period of times. It was just like a quick, all right, let the actual running back rest, so you go in.
That's how it kind of was with me. Like, you used pretty much like a second string, third string running back. That's how it was with me too. I was like a third string defensive tackle. I only got PT when we was up big in the third and fourth quarter, so I kind of feel it. But I still enjoy my time doing like working out and tryouts. You know, I still had fun with the people and whatnot. But I've been thinking about playing football today. Like, nah, it's really no point. I had seizures back then, so that's why I didn't. That's why I only played football for 1 year. I had seizures, so I was kind of scared to play. I basically got over that fear. Played football. I had seizures in practice, and even though I'm seizure free now, due to being inexperienced, I said I'm not even going to waste time going to play football. Would you ever consider playing football again?
No.
Okay, we on the same page.
I'm at a point to where it's like, okay, I tried it. That was good enough. I tried it. I got it out my system. Now I'm at a point to where my drive lies towards getting this wrestling back up, getting the swim back up, and then my art.
After that, I tried it. It didn't really work out, and now I'm taking the safer route anyway. Like, I'm in here in a radio station, the safer route, no contact, none of that, no brain damage. I'm safe over here, so I took the safer route. But you just mentioned swimming. That's our next topic. From the outside looking in, I would say out of wrestling and swimming, you're the best at swimming. You're better at swimming than wrestling?
No, I'm far better at wrestling than swimming.
That's crazy. Like, that's hard to believe. Like, your main job right now is a lifeguard, which is considered swimming. That's That's crazy. So
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier that you've been in competitions in high school. What, like, did you do like 50 freestyles, 100 freestyles, and whatnot? Like, what was your time for those? Did you like win?
So first, let's put it on the record. I am a good lifeguard. Okay. I can swim. I know how to save lives. I could do all of that under a minute. I can save someone's life under a minute. I'm good.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Right. Just wanted to put that on the record. But when it comes to swimming in high school, I wasn't that great at it. I don't know. Maybe it was the fact that I was teaching myself how to swim along with it, because the coaches, they can't teach you how to swim. They're just there to tell you what to do.
True.
So it was like they would throw me in. I had no clue what a 50 was, what a 100 was. And then I remember one day my coach was like, do a 600. And I was like, what is that? And I'm thinking, I had the idiotic thought that a 500 and 100, you're supposed to just count.
Count to 100, count to 500?
In your strokes. And I was just like,
wow.
And I remember doing a 50 and I was just like, 1, 2, 3, 4. And mind you, I was counting. And by the time I finished the 50, I done did 150 for laps. And he was just like, what are you doing? And I was so slow with it. Like, my swimming was slow. I don't kick for some reason. It's all upper body. But now I did get better with it. Even now I did get better with it. But in high school, it was a dramatic change. Like, from my first swim meet, from getting last place, and by last I mean from the collective of 15 swimmers, getting last place to, at the end of our season, getting, what was it, 6th or 9th place.
That's a big climb. That's like 6 spots.
Right. And dropping my time from in 8 minutes to 3.
What was y'all doing? Was like how many?
This was 100 free.
So how many laps is that?
This is 2 laps. 2 laps, 4 laps.
So like one, like
no, my bad. Not 100. This was a 200 free. 200 free. So this was 4 laps and what was that? 8 lengths. So going down 1 is a length. Coming back
is a lap.
Okay. Which is 50.
And you said you went from like 8 minutes to 3 minutes.
Yep.
That's like talk to me about practice. Like, how did you do that? Like, did you practice in your own time, or was it just practicing during practice? Like, that's a major improvement. Like, talk to me about that. That's 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes. That's gone.
So it was a collective of in high school when I did swimming, because I was just like, okay, we in deep water that is far over me, and I'm just like, I'm not about to push myself any more than what I need to, because the last thing I need is to be on a swim team drowning.
Yeah.
Well, that don't look right.
That'd be embarrassing. Yeah.
Right, but it was a collective of my coach saying, yeah, get out this lane, because it was the way that they set lanes up in swim teams is there's beginners, there's slow swimmers, they're okay swimmers, and then they're advanced swimmers. He was just like, cool, go to the advanced lane. I looked at him and was just like, I can barely swim. What do you mean? And he was like, go to the advanced lane. If you start going down, bring yourself back up. And it was just like, they will keep you pace. You gotta follow. And mind you, the advanced lane is nothing but seniors. So I'm a freshman going into the advanced lane with these seniors.
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to keep up with them, and they passing me, and I'm like, dang, you know what? He just brought my ego all the way down. But after like a few weeks of that, it was just like I was actually keeping up with them, because it actually forced me to start using my legs, and it forced me to get my technique. So instead of open hand and keeping it forward, it was closed and going in at an angle. And it was like with ballet, you got to point your feet. You got to point your feet in the water when you kick. Can't bend your knees. And it brought my technique up and it brought my speed up. So I was keeping up with them. Still didn't know how to do a few strokes, but I knew enough to keep up with them.
Like that's it was kind of like, not really, but in it, like I said, for football, because I was big, he put me in the like the heavyweights and whatnot. I was able to do it. I went back down to lightweights, which is kind of different than you, because you stayed with the heavyweights. So I kind of relate to that a little bit. Eventually, me being with the lightweights got me stronger and whatnot. But back to college swim. A few weeks ago, like last Thursday before last, I was at the pool because the gym was closed, and I ran into a friend, a high school friend that you might know. You know Taj?
Yeah, I know.
So he saw me swimming. And he was trying to recruit me to the swim team here. Like, and I was like, nah. Like I can barely do 1.5 lap, and that's not full speed. Like I should be going normal speed. If I go full speed, I can only go down and make it like maybe not halfway back. He was trying to recruit me to the swim team. That ain't happening. I'll play for football again before I join the swim team. With that being said, I take it that y'all looking for people to join the swim team. Any like, where can they find it at? Like, where did they come? Like, where did they sign up at? Like, do you recommend newcomers, and what do you still recommend newcomers to do wrestling? Tell me about that.
So I hold swimming and wrestling on two different standards. Wrestling is a very contact, very rough, very fast-paced sport. This is something that I warn people. I literally spent the entire first 20 minutes of our first opening day of practice passing out waivers, injury waivers, letting them know what happens, what could happen when you wrestle.
Yeah.
And I showed them. I was just like, y'all think I'm playing? And I took off my shirt and I put my arm back like this, and you could see where the indent was of how I put my shoulder back in place. And it was like, oh, so he's serious about it.
Okay.
So I hold it on two different standards for that reason, and then swimming, whole different ballgame. This isn't land. This is water. You're literally fighting against something else to keep you up, and you have such a higher chance of death.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact of water, this substance that seems so chill can bring you down so fast because you get tired. You get very tired very fast, especially when you're doing these 2-mile workouts and all of this in the water nonstop, and you get one break. You'll get very tired very fast. So with wrestling, I'll be like, yeah, come on, test it out, see what you got. But swimming, I will always tell people, if you don't know how to swim, if you can't even make it a lap, don't try it. And that's also coming from a lifeguard point of view. Last thing I need is for someone to come up into the pool and drown.
Yeah.
Because not only will I be there, and I may not be on the shift at the moment, but because I am a lifeguard, I still have to act on it. So that's just going to be a lot of paperwork and work on me. So I'm just like, if you barely can swim, don't try it. Try doing the swim lessons first. Get some swim lessons, get your skills up before you come to this, get your endurance up before you come to this, because this is not for the faint of heart. No sport is for the faint of heart.
So make sure you tell Taj, make sure you tell him that so he can stop telling people like me to try to come to the team and embarrass ourselves. But anywho, you said lifeguards got to do paperwork, which I kind of didn't think about that. My little sister, I think she became a lifeguard this summer. Any like, what would you like? Any tips for her? Any tips? What did she get herself into? Like, what does she need to know? Like, I think she said she not do CPR now, whatnot. But she said I think she said she can't swim underwater. That's absolutely that's obviously required. If somebody drowning, how you gonna get underwater? You can't swim underwater. So, any tips for her?
So there's a lot of stigma. There is stigma to being a lifeguard. When people come to the pool, what do you see us normally doing?
But lifeguards, sitting up top, like watching everybody.
Exactly. They see us and they're just like, oh, they're just chilling in the chair, just looking at people. They ain't doing nothing. don't let that stigma fool you. Because the moment someone drowns or panic drowns or something is the moment we actually start having to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even have to be in water. It's outside of water. Things can happen. I have to watch this entire Olympic-sized pool and watch the people up in the balcony behind me and watch the people up in the trophy room and watch the people on the deck all at the same time.
That's crazy.
Because I could be watching the pool and just like the last summer, this little kid could be hanging off the edge of the balcony about to fall. And that's some height from the balcony to the deck.
Yes, it is.
And the deck is hard. So him falling on that, something's breaking. So lifeguarding is a very easy job if you know what you're doing. But it's also a job that some people just aren't equipped for. I have seen people that have gone to save someone's life and bring them out, do what they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
They've done everything they could. CPR, 30 to 2 breaths, all of that. Person didn't make it. Broke the lifeguard.
Yeah.
Just broke him. She couldn't come back. She quit fully. She was done.
Mm.
It's not for the faint, because coming to this job, every person that walks into that door, every person that gets into that pool, their life is now in your hands. So it's just a matter of where your will is at. And then the whole swimming aspect, all of that can be learned. All of that can be gained. You can learn how to swim underwater. The easiest way to swim underwater is to bob. If you don't know how to hold your breath underwater, bob repeatedly, just going up and down, up and down, up and down, blowing out through your nose, breathing in through your mouth, out through your nose, in through your mouth. And then to get down underwater, a lot of people can't go submerged because their body automatically floats.
Mm-hmm.
Pencil dive, just straight down, and that will get you down enough to where your hands will do the rest of the work of you pushing down, and then get the person, bring it back up.
So, like you said, you got to have a strong heart. You pencil dive to get used to going underwater. Strong heart, pencil dive. You got to have good eyes. Can't just focus on one spot. Got to focus everywhere. And that's the three main factors of being a lifeguard. That's if you listen and make sure you take that into factor. Because like you said, you want to be a lawyer too. And in a lawyer, you're not going to win every case. Just like as a lifeguard, you're not going to save every life. So I would say being a lifeguard is kind of, can kind of help you become a lawyer. But anywho, out of those three sports, football, swimming, and wrestling, which one would you say has the hardest conditioning, like the condition workouts?
Wrestling.
Why you say that? Like, what did y'all do? Because that's hard to believe over football.
Wrestling, yes, they would want you to work out and all of that, so you would be in the weight room, but you would go in the weight room once in a blue moon.
Mm-hmm.
Weight room is not something that you necessarily do in wrestling, just for the simple fact of weight class. You want to stay in your weight.
Yeah.
So bulking and all of that, you don't really want to do. But conditioning,
mm-hmm.
that is a big part of wrestling. So you could be a track star coming into wrestling. The first 1 minute of you trying to wrestle, you will get winded.
Yeah.
You could be the best football player in our state. You're gonna come into wrestling, you're gonna get winded. You could be the best in CrossFit, whatever, you're gonna get winded. Wrestling is a different breed of conditioning. And that's just my thought on it, because I will sit there and wrestle for 3 minutes straight. And after that, I feel like I'm dead. Everything is hurting, I'm gasping for air, all of that. Because our drills, you would go and shuffle in place in high knees. And every time the coach says hit, you got to drop to the ground, get back up, and keep shuffling.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be like, and if you're slowing down, it extends the time and you got to speed up. And it'll start it over at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also got to do suicides on the mat. but the suicides aren't normal suicides. It's like you're taking shots, doing the technique across the mat.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing that repeatedly. And then after that, he's like, all right, shadow wrestle, where you're just wrestling by yourself, but you can't do it slow. You got to actually do it like you're in a match.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot that comes to it.
And like when you say that you can barely last 2 minutes, I never wrestled, but at my cousin's house, I played this VR like UFC like boxing game. Well, I actually got like punch and whatnot, gotta like dodge and weave and move around. That thing had me exhausted in like 2 minutes. So 2 minutes is a push. Honestly, probably had me exhausted in 1 minute. So I kind of believe you when you say wrestling it might be is a harder conditioning than football and swimming. Like, cause that be it. If I did VR and it had me tired in like a minute or 2 minutes, it's crazy. So I believe that. But I had to say the best topic for last. Art.
Yes.
What made you realize, yeah, this is when I want to do art. This is when I want to do. Like, when was that moment? Like, when made you realize that?
So, art started as a way to get back at my parents because I remember in elementary school, I would have my Transformers. I still do. I collect these Transformers, and they're up on shelves and everything. But in elementary school, they were action figures, so I would play with them. And as a punishment, they would be like, "You gotta put them away, and you're gonna sit there and you're just gonna look at them." That would be the punishment, right? Kind of taunting me.
Okay, that's crazy. Not that makes sense.
So I would be like, "Oh, so we're playing games." So I would be like, "Okay, cool." So I remember taking this notebook that I never used for school, which, crazy, and this pencil. And I remember just looking at it and out of nowhere just started drawing it. And then I would cut it out and I would play with that. It would be an exact replica of the Optimus Prime, of the Megatron. And I would be sitting there playing with the paper.
Wow.
And they couldn't say nothing because it was paper. What you gonna do? Take the paper away? Like, and then on top of that, it also showed them I done unlocked a new achievement. Now I know how to draw. But I was never serious about drawing. It wasn't until COVID, where my depression was at its highest, that art really helped me. And I was just like, dang, let me actually see if I can take this somewhere. Because then I actually started improving on my art. My art was trash. Everything has, before COVID, trash.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And that they'll always say, of course, the artist never likes their own work. But I feel like even if now you would have seen my art now versus how it was, you would have been like, ooh.
Yeah, that just shows how much you improved.
Right. And I improved a lot during COVID because art was my escape. I was escaping a lot. So I was doing like 20 pieces a week. Just straight landscapes. Just 20 pieces a week. I would be doing anime characters, Marvel characters, DC characters, landscapes, all of that. I even started back working on portraits, and I hated doing portraits. But I started working on it. And then it came to me. I posted it one day on my story, and this dude slid up and was just like, "Can I buy this?"
Salute to that dude.
Right.
You don't know when he started.
The first customer, he was just like, "Can I buy this?" And I didn't know how to sell art. I didn't know what to appraise it for. I was just like, sure. And he was like, cool, for how much? I was just like, how much would you buy it for? And he was just like, I'll give you a good $100 for it. And it wasn't even a big painting. It was a normal size, medium landscape. And I remember him posting it on his story and how happy he was when he got it. And he put it up on his wall over his TV, and he was just like, now my room is perfect. And I don't know, something about that. I was just like, dang, wait, I really want to do this, because I thought art only made me happy because it was something I was doing. But the fact that when I sold it to him, it seemed like he was more happy about the art than I was. So I was just like, that is what actually made me more serious about my art, to improve more and to sell more.
So I know there's like many different kinds of art. What would you say, like what type of art did you do? What type of art do you do? Like what's your main type of art that you do mainly? Like maybe your, I'm gonna say top 3 that you do.
So a lot of my art, especially when it comes to original work, is expressionism, and I'm definitely a realist. I'm all for realism. I can draw a cartoon, like I could draw a cartoon, I could draw anime, I could do all that, but I like to leave that for commissions. I'm definitely a realism person. When I do my portraits, it will always be realism. When I do any type of original work, landscapes, it will always be realism. And there's this form of expressionism in it because I actually mindlessly do it. I don't sit there and be like, okay, how am I feeling today? Let me put this feeling into the painting. I don't do that. The whole processes that my professors here try to teach me, I can't do that.
Why not?
I don't know. I feel like the art doesn't come out great if I do that. Mm-hmm. They will sit here and be like, okay, I want you to break down what you're feeling, break down what you want this painting to mean, and all of that. I could do all that. I could break that down. I could make a painting mean something. Mm-hmm. But after I do that, I'll try to put it in play, and the painting will come out like trash. I can't formulate a plan to make a painting. I can't formulate the plan to make a drawing. I just go at it. And somewhere along the way, the emotion starts going into it. The gold painting that I did that's in our room.
Of you, of yourself?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I had no idea where I was going with that. All I knew was that I wanted to try fluid art. All I knew was that I needed something that was just like, oh, when you look at it, that's Love's art right there. But I didn't know what I was going on. The amount of times I changed the smoke that's around the body, the amount of times that I thought about how I'm going to do the dripping. At first, the first original plan for the dripping on that art was for it to go across the top, mm-hmm. flip it, go across the sides, flip it, go across the bottom, flip it, and go across the next side. It was supposed to cave in on all sides. But eventually at the end, it was just like, no, keep it to the one. Because that meant more than doing it all across every side. And when you look at the painting, in that time of me creating it, I felt like I was going through so much, mm-hmm. because I'm the only one that's paying for my schooling, my bills. I'm working 2 jobs, going to school. I'm stressing myself out, along with depression, anxiety, and all this other things I got going on. I feel like I'm crumbling. But my mindset wasn't there when I was creating this painting. But in the 2-month span of me painting this, mm-hmm. it started showing itself in the painting, with the chaotic energy that was in the smoke, with the dramatic pose that was painted, with the drips that were coming down like hellfire. It started showing itself. I can do that better than I can formulate and then paint. I'd rather just paint and let it come out.
Yeah, that's smart, but 1 second, because that looks a bit like my live ended. So you know how to start a live, right? Can you stop another for me?
Are we?
Oh dang! People was watching. That's tough. This one's ever had. Where's the? Oh. Do you think so?
Yeah.
I was looking over here. I'm burnt. So, what would you say was your best? This might be a two-part question. Your most iconic and or like your best artwork you ever made.
Hmm. So shoot me if I'm wrong,
Okay.
but I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I've created something where it's like, oh, now that's just it. That's the bread and the butter. That's him. That's what he's known for. I'm about to hang this up in the museum. I don't think I've created something like that. And funny enough, you're not the first to ask me that. I've had my professors ask me. I've had friends ask me that, and it goes between, in their opinion, they think that that gold piece was the best one I've ever created, or the portrait I've done, the second portrait I've ever done on this campus of someone. But in my eyes, I'm just like, okay, yeah, those were great, but I don't think those were like the iconic moments of where my art is.
And that's a good mindset to have. Like you don't want to think that you reach your max potential right now and can never get better. So I'm not mad at you for that answer. That's a good answer. You always think that you can always like improve day by day, week by week. So that's a smart answer. And I assume that your career goes somewhere in the art world. What exactly do you want to be?
Definitely. So with art, a lot of the times, a lot of artists just go into being an art teacher because there's not too much in the world that drawer and painters can do unless you're doing murals for people or you're running your own business. And, that's just the real life about it. This isn't a Disney movie where you can just say, "Oh, I'm an artist" and be this millionaire. It ain't like it used to be where Leo DiCaprio would just draw something and dang, $1 million. It ain't like that anymore. So my mindset with it is with these internships. I'll do an internship where it's like I'll either be under this artist wing or I'll be an art instructor. I'm fine with that. But do I want to teach art? No. I want to be able to at least take my business to a level where I'm doing commissions for these big name people before I settle down and become a teacher. No disrespect, but like
I feel like teachers are like very underpaid right now. We're in the era of like kids being so disrespectful. A few months ago, a 6-year-old like somebody like in second grade shot his teacher. I've seen so many videos of kids in elementary school being disrespectful. So I don't blame you. Like you doing a smart thing.
I really want to get my art to a level where it's like all over, just all over. Whether that's exhibitions, museums, or just on the street, you see it.
That's smart. So where can people? So like you said earlier, you posted your one picture online, and that one got supported, and it's been up since there. So where can people now find your artwork, view it, and purchase it? Like on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, anything like that.
So the main handle that is used for everything, Instagram and YouTube for my art, is Love's Artistry. Spelled regularly, Loves Artistry.
Okay.
And then, but for Instagram, it is Loves _ Artistry. Instagram, YouTube is just straight up Loves Artistry.
So like, how often do you like put up artwork on each of those pages for sale? Like on how can you make a YouTube video? How can you got like a new artwork on Instagram for sale? And the other ones that you mentioned.
So, due to Bowie State University being such a great school and giving us so much work and stressing us out, I haven't been able to make a YouTube video since last semester.
I kind of noticed that. I haven't heard you report one in a while, so I was wondering how that was going. But
I haven't been able to make a YouTube video in a very long time. And it's also just the fact that I kind of fell off in my views. It wasn't getting the hype that I thought it was going to get, but you can't always let that stop you because sometimes it just won't.
Yeah, that's a very bad mindset to have. I'm not gonna lie. I go live on Instagram every time I record. My peak viewers might be like 3 viewers. That's what some like it'd be my mom, my dad, and like some friends might join, but they leave. I'm just like, but when when it ended, I had like 8 viewers, so like I'm probably go back down to deep views when they go back to like a regular episode, but not every YouTube video. 'Cause I used to make YouTube videos too. Not every video can get like 1,000 views, 100K views. I had to learn that too. Same thing with TikTok. So I think you should still keep on posting YouTube videos. Like you can't expect, I expect to go at nighttime. It don't work that way. You got to work hard. Got to keep on uploading. Got to be consistent. So that's how like our favorite like YouTubers and whatnot came up. Like they didn't post one video, boom, they like that. They had to work hard for it, be consistent. But like you said, if you got a lot of work, you definitely are very busy. Like you said, 2 jobs, class, art, and whatnot. So I can see your inconsistency. But if you're able to be consistent, you should be consistent. Can't expect to blow up like after one video and whatnot. But you kind of already answered this. But you make custom artwork, custom like artwork for people. And if so, where can they reach you at like your Instagram account to request artwork? Like, how much do you normally charge?
Right. So, like it was said, the business name, handle, everything is Love's Artistry, and the customs, I like to keep them simple. Whatever there isn't the link anymore on the bio for the Instagram Loves_Artistry, but you can also just DM the page and ask for it, and it gives you a list of all of the terms, agreements, and the prices, everything that you would have a question for. And if it is not on there, plain and simple means I do not do it.
Mm-hmm.
I keep it simple to keep my mental in check. I don't like when people ask me to do something and I'm just like, you know what, I'll try it. And it doesn't go according to plan.
Mm-hmm.
At least with them, the artwork will come out great. It'll come out how they want it. But the process of doing it strained me so much. I'm at a point to where if it's not on there, I'm not doing it.
I feel that like that you kind of like you might like it, but they don't like it, so you kind of waste your time. They're not gonna buy it, so you got nothing to do with the artwork. So I feel that, and I know you're a busy man. You got work in like 40 minutes. So I'm not going to do for much longer. I'm asking some quick questions.
But let me answer your previous question.
Oh, my fault.
You good? So commissions run at the rate of regular paintings. So I sell original paintings, not original, but paintings that were pre-made. I sell that for smalls are $20, mediums are $25, larges are $30. Anime art, on the other hand, smalls are $30, mediums are $40, larges are $50, and they keep going up based on size. It goes up by 10 based on size. But when I do commissions, you can either pay all up front or all at the end. And if you decide to back out on a commission, there is a $10 cancellation fee. I can ship it for $8, or you can just come pick it up for free. I prefer y'all be a great human being and actually pay that $10 cancellation fee, because I don't have a website running, so it can't just automatically take it out.
Yeah.
But there is that cancellation fee, and a lot of people don't pay it, they just dip. But also, it doesn't hurt me necessarily, because if you didn't want to buy it, guess what? Now I have more to sell at the next pop-up shop.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Like I said, you're a busy man. From the looks of it, our PC about to die. So I'm gonna ask you some quick questions. You give me answers quickly. You ready? If you can go back and watch any anime for the first time but no memories of it, which one would it be?
Attack on Titan.
Okay, one got to go forever, including your memories of it. Swimming, wrestling, and Transformers.
Oh, okay? Swimming.
After you said you was kind of better swim in high school, I knew that was gonna be the answer. If you can have a 30-minute practice with any 3 athletes or artists, who would they be, dead or alive?
Artists Stan Lee, Bob Ross, and he's alive, but Michael Bay.
Okay. And for this question, you gotta give me a realistic answer. You can't say Beyonce. You have no way to contact her and get a response. If you could bring any guest into the show for an interview, who would it be?
You said realistic, as in
as in you can text them, reach out to them, or whatever, and they're gonna respond.
I would bring my man's no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't, because he never got his stuff together. Dang. Actually, yeah, I would bring my girl Sin. She just always has a lot to talk about, and she's such a warm spirit. So
Is she in the athletic world or like non-athletic department?
she's a part of the modeling company that I'm in.
Okay, I got a couple of questions for modeling and whatnot to ask, but that's cool. Anything else you want to say before I let you go? Like anything else you want to promote, talk about, say right quick?
No, that's pretty much it. Just spreading love.
All right, that's a good way to end the show. I greatly appreciate you stopping by to the one and only Bowie State Sports Talk. It's been a W episode, but stay tuned. You all that's watching, I'm not done yet. I gotta get to the sports part, talk about like the football and whatnot. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Other than that, appreciate y'all for watching. Have a blessed day.